Hi there, Candice Lee from Candice Lee Fired Up, and I thought today I would just show you me making the chocolate sauce with coconut milk and our gluten-free brownies. So here I am just starting with the chocolate sauce. I'm using our 12 cup stainless steel pot, but you can use any one that you like, but I like ours because it actually has measurements on the inside, really great handle, it's stainless steel, and comes with a really cool lid with two strainer, so you don't actually have to mess up anything. So like literally you've got one pot to bake all your stuff in. So I'm just going to pour in our chocolate sauce. You can use dairy or whipped cream or anything like that if you wanted to thicken it up, but I'm actually going to do it with coconut milk just because I'm going to a potluck and we'll want to make sure that there's no one who's vegan or has dairy problems or anything like that. So that is all I'm going to do is pour that in here, put it on the stove, and in about 10 minutes I will have delicious chocolate sauce. And I'm just making my gluten-free brownies for a potluck that I'm going to tomorrow night. And it's gluten-free, so it already has black bean powder and chickpea flour. It's got organic cane sugar, cocoa powder that's organic, and baking soda and salt. So it's pretty much like making brownies out of a package from the store, but it's much healthier as you saw. Very little ingredients. It has instructions on it and the nutritional value. I'm making mine vegan, so I've used a bit of coconut milk and applesauce. And I'm just gonna mix them all up and let it soak for a few minutes. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix it up. So applesauce, and I'm making a mess, but hey, that's all right. And we just mix it. And then once it's all mixed, I'm just gonna let it sit for a couple minutes, just so that it softens up the black beans that are freeze-dried. And just so we don't get the texture that, it's pretty much like having like a nut in there but without the nut, but some people have a problem with that. So if you got a picky eater who doesn't like anything in their brownies, definitely just let it set for a couple of minutes, and then it's good to go. So as you can see, look, that's it, just a cup of applesauce, a bit of coconut milk. You can use butter and eggs, of course, but I find this one is not just even good for like, because I got vegans, but it also is good because it's really chewy and moist and dense. And I use our Perfect Petites, so there you go. I'm just gonna let that sit for a couple minutes. I use this, a Perfect Petites. I get 30 little tiny brownies that are basically about 2 tablespoons each, so it's really good for when you're going to potlucks or parties. Also good for when you want a portion control, or if you're someone who just likes the edge. You know, the edge of the brownie that everyone really likes, that's where you get this really well without having to worry about chopping and all that. Okay, so I'm gonna let it sit and then I'm gonna throw it into the oven. Hi there, I'm just actually continuing on prepping for the brownies by putting a tiny bit of grapeseed oil into the Perfect Petites so they're all ready while it soaks. And this is just because there's not a lot of fat actually in the brownies, as we saw, so I don't want them to stick. The really cool thing about our Perfect Petites is that it's really easy to pop everything out that you need. My suggestion only is that if you're looking for quick to get something out, throw it in the fridge or the freezer for 5-10 minutes. It'll cool it and it'll be able to separate easier. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna do. As you can see, it's got a tiny bit of grapeseed oil, so it doesn't add too much flavor. And again, it's still okay for anyone who doesn't have dairy. Okay, I've let it sit for 5 minutes and most of the black beans has softened so that it doesn't look all crunchy in there. And then I'm just going to actually just pour. You can dollop into each one if you like, but it's just as easy just to pour it on top and then just squish it all around. It just depends on how much you're worried about it being neat and tidy, or you just want them really fast. But it makes pretty much the same in my book. As long as it hits the little pockets, you're good to go. Can't see it very well, but pretty much, yeah, there you go. So there we go. And I'm just gonna keep moving them so that they actually get into all the little pots. But there's my brownies. Okay, so I've mushed it all around, and yes, that's a technical cooking term, so that all the brownies is filled in the Perfect Petites, as you can see. And you could barely tell that I actually just dumped it all on and push it around because it's pretty clean. That's a good thing about the silicone. Okay, so now from here, I am going to just throw it in the oven in about 12 minutes to 15. I will have little brownies that we can have at the potluck tomorrow night. Okay, so the chocolate sauce was all done, and since I use coconut milk, it's going to be a little thinner than using whipping cream or whole milk or anything like that. And then this is where I'm going to use our cruet to pour in so that I can actually transport it and even just store it if I need it for later if we don't use it all. And the great thing about this, it has a spout, so it'll pour right in with no problems. And it pretty much almost all fits. Might have a tiny bit left in there. But there you go, a whole container of chocolate sauce for the brownies tomorrow. Alright, I am back and magically we have brownies. I actually added a little bit left of the chocolate sauce because I had a little bit left that wouldn't fit into the cruet, and I just poured it on, so there'll be a few gooey spots for some people. And then once it's cooled down, I'll be able to just pop it right out like you see, like that. But as you can see right now, it's quite hot, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, thank you guys for joining in and seeing gluten-free brownies with chocolate sauce, vegan style. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.